Hey house guests, welcome to today's Celebrity Big Brother 2 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day, we've got Connie Daniels. Thank you so much for the mail, so sweet of you. We've got Night of Light, Kyle Welch, and Latasha Allen. Thank you guys so much, all of you, for the support. We really, really appreciate it and could not do this without you. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. I just had a few animal crackers, so now my mouth is all weird. So anyway, last night, let's do a little quick episode thing. Tom and Kato were up on the block. Lola won the power veto, did not use it, and Kato was evicted by a vote of 5-0. Bye. He was a lot of fun for a while, but then like there was the whole fighting controversy thing, but like he was fun to watch. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how Tom copes without him, right? Because they were like this. So, yeah, the house guests were waiting around for a few hours before the HOH competition began. So this gave them, you know, some time to chat and everything. So Lolo and Tom were chatting in the bathroom area. Is she trying to make sure that she's going to be safe if Tom wins HOH? Because, like, we saw the night before, she was all like, don't give up, fight, fight, fight. And now she's like, promise me you're not going to go crazy if you win HOH again. Really? You're telling Tom not to go crazy? Do you remember who you are? I mean, really. But Tom laughs and he's like, yeah, I've learned my lesson. And he says he's not sure if he even wants to win HOH again because it's so much nicer to just play and not have all of that responsibility. Of course he wants to win HOH. Are you kidding me? He's like dying for it. So Tom is telling Lolo he just really wants to make it to the final four, you know, so he can have time to like entertain everybody watching. And he says it's not like he's not going to try to win. He is going to try, but he doesn't have like this burning desire to be the big winner. He's trolling her. So anyway, Lolo's like, oh, that's what I thought, but then when you won HOH last time, it was so crazy. We couldn't keep up with what you wanted, and it was just, like, too much for us. So, you know, we would have stayed true to the alliance, but it was too jumpy. We couldn't do it. So then Lolo brings up the night that Tom, like, interrogated everybody about whether or not they had the secret power and if they knew who did. And she's like, honestly, if they didn't introduce the power during your HOH reign, it would have been completely different. Like, our group would have still been working together. That's so nice to hear. Not. So then Tom is like, well, I've been wrong so much about what other people are thinking in this house. He was sure that he was going to be evicted that time around. He thought for sure that he was leaving. So he was quite surprised to still even be there. But he's saying he wants to have fun and be nice to everyone during the rest of his time in the house. And he says that he wasn't really grilling people in a serious game way about the power. He was trying to make a funny moment for the show, and he was so surprised that everyone thought he was serious. Okay. I'm pretty sure that Tom is BSing Lola. I think, yes, he did think that it would be entertaining for the show, but, like, I think it was eating him alive also that he did not know who had that power, and he wanted to know. So I think partially, yeah, he wanted to be entertaining, but at the same time, he really wanted to know. So anyway, it seems like Lolo is buying all of this because she's like, oh my god, that's not how everyone took it, but I never would have even thought that that's what you were doing. But she seems like she's buying it. So then Lolo is in the hotel bedroom with Tamar, Natalie, and Ricky, and she's telling them all about her chat with Tom. So Lola's like, do you guys believe Tom that like he was interrogating everyone to make the show more funny? And they're all like, no, no way. Tamar's like, that's what he's going with? That's his excuse for that? And Lolo's like, well, there's always a little truth in every joke. Yeah, she believed him. So Tamar's like, no, this is what happened. The power got to him, his cockiness got to him, and he freaking lost it. And Natalie's like, yeah, and it wasn't even funny. So it was definitely entertaining, though. So Lola's like, well, it doesn't change anything. They all agree that Tom's got to go, and he can't win the next HOH competition. All right, so then we had a nice little Dina and Kandi game chat, and I have to say, I love this duo. I don't think Dina knows what's going on most of the time in the game, but it's fun. And I think Kandi really does have a good read on the house, and I feel like she's kind of damned if she does and damned if she doesn't, because people are accusing her of not playing, but then when she does try and play, they're like, why are you doing this? Which we will see in a little bit. But I think that Kandi's a really good player. She's got a lot of potential, and if she could just like win some comps, I think she's got a really good shot at winning this whole thing. So Dina says that Ricky, Natalie, Lolo, and Tamar are all together. Pretty much, right? They're in that like hotel bedroom alliance. So Dina's like, well, who's going to be in the final five with them? You know, because they're thinking about last season. I guess the finale, they went into it with 5 people. So she's like, who's going to be their 5th? Who's going to get dragged along? Dina would like it to be all girls. So bye Ricky, bye Tom. But then Dina and Kandi are saying they really want to split up that trio of Ricky, Lolo, and Natalie because it's just too powerful. So Kandi confirms if she wins this HOH, she will be putting up Natalie and Lolo and breaking those 2 up. So then Kandi goes to the Chrysler bedroom to talk to Tom. And again, I love this duo too. I would love to see Tom, Kandi, Dina, and Tamar all working together. But the chances of Tamar working with Tom seem very low. It's not looking good for that. But I really do love Tom and Kandi together at least. So Kandi's asking Tom, who are you putting up if you win? And Tom's like, well, I haven't really thought about it. You know, I just don't think I'm going to win this one. So then Kandi says, well, I think that it has to be one of the athletes going. That trio needs to be broken up. So Tom is like, yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to win, but I'll try. So Kandi's like, all right, well, we got to break up that trio before they have a majority because numbers are really dwindling here, and 3 is a pretty big number once you get down to the end. So then the athlete trio is going over their plan. And Ricky says, if we win, we put up Dina and Tom, and then if one of them wins the power veto, we're going to put up Kandi. And they agree. They're like, woo, done. That's it. So then the feeds go down for the HOH competition, and they stayed down for like 3-ish hours. They came back a little bit before 1:30 a.m., so it was a late night. And we find out that Tom won HOH. I'm excited about this because you guys can see, but Mom just went. But I'm excited about this because I think it's like one of the most, for lack of a better term, exciting outcomes because Tom was really in the crapper and he could have gone next, but he pulled out that HOH win, and now that trio is going to be shaking in their boots. So anyway, he was wearing a tux. I think it was some sort of like casino theme because I think it was the dice competition where you have to like get to a certain number on the die, you know, with a certain amount of moves. I think it was that one, which we haven't seen in a while, so it's fun that they brought that back. But Omarosa hosted the competition, so we'll see her on the episode, and everybody was talking about her, and they're like, oh my god, she's so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then everyone's kind of like hanging out, making food, and then we see Ricky alone, lying in his bed, and I could have sworn there was a lone tear falling from his eye. Okay, I believe earlier in the day, before the eviction, Ricky was talking to Tom, and he asked Tom, would you rather go home on this eviction or the next one? Oh yeah, he said that. So now, could be him going. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so then Lolo and Natalie were chatting, and Lolo's like, well, this gives Tom a chance to make amends. He said he wanted to make things right with everybody, so this is his chance. Come on. So Natalie is like, yeah, maybe Tom won't be so manic because he doesn't have Kato in his ear. But like, wasn't Kato the one kind of calming him down most of the time? I don't know. But Lolo says, it's in God's hands this week. Is Tom your God? Tom is the HOH, okay? He's making the decisions here. So Natalie is assuming that she and Ricky will go up because they are tough competitors and they are big threats. And Lola's like, yeah, but if one of you guys wins Power Veto, I'm going to go up and I'm going to get voted out because I fought with a lot of people. Okay. So Natalie is like, well, what's to stop us from like why shouldn't we pull Tom into our 5 with Tamar? You know, that could be great. Are you freaking kidding me? Why is Tom gonna want to work with you guys after what happened last time? But they're like, oh, it's okay. It might work because he's not going to be able to play in the next HOH competition. He's going to need protection. And we're going to have to tell him if he goes to the end with Kandi and Tamar or even like Dina, he might not get votes in the end against them because they don't have any blood on their hands. I feel like if Dina wins this whole thing, unless she like wins out all the competitions to the end, that's just a sign of a majorly bitter jury. Am I right? Okay. Again, love watching Dina play, but I don't think at this point she should win. But there's a lot of game left to be played. So then later, Tamar, Lolo, and Natalie were all chatting, and they are so pissed at Kandi right now. They are really regretting keeping her. They're thinking that Kandi may have even thrown the HOH competition. They're pissed that they saved her, and then she's playing both sides. I mean, that's your choice, man. You could have kept Joey, but you were like, no. So, it is what it is. But then, again, there's the example of, like, they're telling Kandi that she's not playing, and then they get all angry when she does. So, whatevs. But then, okay. It was time for Tom's HOH room reveal. This was at like 3:40 a.m. We only got audio at first, which was kind of annoying, but hopefully we'll see it on the show. So everyone went up for at least a few minutes, which was nice, because I think Tamar and Ricky were definitely sleeping, but they got up and they went to check it all out, so that was nice. So Tom's letter was from his friend Elle King, as in the singer, X's and O's, Rob Schneider's daughter. That is like such a random friendship. I never would have guessed that they were friends. I don't know for sure, but it almost sounded like they have some sort of agent-manager connection kind of thing. I don't know, but that's pretty interesting that they're friends. I never would have guessed that. His music was not Elle King. It was it was A Tribe Called Quest. Very cool. And he got all the snacks and everything, family photos. So then Natalie, Lolo, and Dina all stayed to hang out for like at least an hour. Kandi came back as well after she changed into her PJs. So some of them were drinking wine with Tom. Man, pucker up. They are ready to kiss some A, right? They wouldn't have like wanted to hang out with Tom for like 5 seconds before he won HOH, so that's nuts. But Tipsy Dina was the last one talking to Tom. It wasn't like last time though, when she was just like spilling all these secrets, so she controlled herself a little bit more. Alright, so then today, let the strategy talks begin, because they didn't really have many last night. It was just too late once the HOH was over. So Tom and Kandi were talking this morning, and Tom was assuring her, like, you don't even need to worry about the others getting in my head. It's not going to work, and I'm putting them up. So he wants to make himself as safe as possible going into next week, because, again, he cannot compete in the HOH comp. Now, he's kind of cool with Dina, but then, you know, like, floats to whoever has power. He's definitely cool with Kandi, but she hasn't done well in competitions yet. So he's trying to figure out if he can, like, make some deals here. So he's thinking about putting up Lolo as a pawn and telling her that she's the pawn, because he feels like he could potentially have some sort of working relationship with her moving forward, right? Because, like, they've kind of been talking a little bit the last 2 days, so he's like, well, maybe it could work with her. Or at least out of those three, he feels the most comfortable with her. Ricky is the target, so he's thinking, I'm going to put Ricky up on the block right away with Lolo. And then if the power veto is used, Natalie will go up. If it's used on Ricky, Natalie's the new target. If it's used on Lolo, Ricky is still the one that he wants to go. So Kandi's like, is that your best move though? She still really thinks that Natalie is the strongest player and the one that should be evicted. I have to agree with that. Not only is she a really strong player and like a huge competition threat, but I think that she is the glue that holds that trio together, because Lolo and Ricky are both very combative and have some anger issues. So I feel like if Natalie wasn't there to like bring them back together, they're a lot less likely to work harmoniously together. So I definitely agree that Natalie should be their #1 target. But Tom is like, don't worry, there's a good chance that Ricky's going to win the power veto, and then Natalie will go up and out. So either way, we're getting rid of one of them. It's going to be good. So Tom is saying, out of the 3, though, he definitely wants Lolo to be the one to stay. Because, again, he feels like he can work with her, and he likes her when she's not yelling at him. Okay, cool. So then Tom is asking Kandi, please try and talk to Tamar. Try and get a deal going with her. See if you can get her to agree that if I don't put her up this week, that she won't put me up again if she wins HOH again. So Candy's like, all right, I'll work on that. But Tamar is really not happy with Kandi right now. I want to say they were in the storage room. It was just like a really quick thing. But Tamar freaking scolded Kandi for doing too much. She's like, they, meaning the trio, are pissed at you and me right now because I vouched for you and they voted for you to stay. And now you're like playing both sides here. I told you to chill and lay low. And you're like talking to Tom. You're hanging out in his HOH room till like 4:45 in the morning. Like, what is this? So it's a little bit insane because Kandi is putting in work right now to keep Tamar safe. I don't know why Tamar is trying to be so loyal to this trio right now when Tom is wanting to work with her and the trio will be losing someone this week. And they're like ready to dump her anyway at the drop of a hat. So it just doesn't make sense to me. But she seems really intent on working with them over Tom and his crew. So then Tom invites everyone to have a one-on-one chat with him before nominations. This is something that he was talking about the first time he was HOH, but he didn't actually do it. So now he's going to do it. So Tamar goes and complains to Ricky, and she's like, meeting for what? She says, I'm supposed to kiss his ass now that he's HOH when he paid no attention to me when I was HOH? Yeah, and you put him up. Do you want him to do the same thing to you? I mean, come on. She's a fan of the show. She should know. This is part of the game. It's crazy. So Tamar says, I'm not going to do it. We'll see about that. All right, so Ricky was the first one to go up and have his one-on-one with Tom. And Tom is like, Ricky, I have a proposal for you. It's not the easiest or the simplest, but I think it's fair. So he's telling Ricky, I'd like to put you up on the block, but I'm going to give you the chance to win the veto. So he's like, I would like you to win the veto, but if you don't, I will fight for the votes to keep you. Which we know is a load of BS because Ricky is Tom's #1 target. #1. But, you know, he wants to set himself up here so that he's got a safety net just in case Ricky does win the power veto and save himself. So then Tom is like, in exchange for that, I would like to be kept safe if you win HOH. But you're putting him up. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That's not typically how that deal works. I do not think that that's a fair deal. But Ricky's like, yeah, I think that's fair, but I have a different proposal. So then he's like, you can't compete for HOH next week. If you don't put me up, we, meaning like him, Lolo, and Natalie, will all keep you safe. We could have voted you out last week, and we didn't. So what are you going to do now, right? Like, we saved you. I wouldn't say that they saved Tom. I think they just wanted Kato out more. But you spin it how you want. And Ricky's telling him, you'll have the 3 best competitors on your side. Would they be on his side, though? I feel like there's no coming back from what happened to that alliance. You can't put those pieces back together. Something got brushed under a rug. You're never going to find that piece again. So anyway, Tom is like, well, it's going to look weird if I don't put you up, considering our history. And Ricky's like, it'll look weird if you do put me up, because I had a lot to do with you staying last week, which is BS. Okay, so then Ricky is like, Tom, I think you should nominate Dina and Tamar, and then everyone else will be on your side. You'll be cool with everybody, which is not true because Kandi would be super pissed. And there's no guarantee that the trio would stay loyal to Tom. It just doesn't make sense. But Tom's like, yeah, okay, so you think about my proposal, I'll think about yours, and then we'll figure something out. Okay, so then Natalie was next to talk to Tom, and Tom proposes, if I don't put you up, will you do the same for me if you win next week? And Natalie's like, yeah, that's what I was going to propose too, la 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 la. So then Tom is saying, if yeah, if someone uses the veto, I might have to put you up as the replacement, but you're not the target, so don't worry about it. Okay, let me just give you some highlights from the other ones too. So Tamar does end up having a one-on-one with Tom, even though she said she wasn't going to. So he gives her the same proposal that he gave to Natalie. I won't put you up if you promise not to put me up. And Tamar accepts. However, earlier, Tamar was talking to Kandi, and she said, if Tom offers me something like that, I'm going to accept it, but I'm not going to honor it. Because she feels like if Tom stays in this house, he's going to win like all the competitions until the end, and he's going to win. So she doesn't want him around. Okay, so then Tamar is also agreeing to help Tom get his like unnamed target out. He didn't want to say who it was, but Tamar agreed like, yeah, if I win POV, I'll do what you want with it. And if you need me to vote a certain way, I will. Which I feel like is a dead giveaway that you're not serious about it when you don't know who the target is and you're agreeing to it. Nah. Right? Nah. So then Lolo met with Tom, and this one is a little bit more interesting because Tom does want to work with her, but he still wants to put her up on the block. So he reveals, yes, I want to nominate you, but I want to keep you safe. You're really just a pawn here. And he says, I want you to win the veto and use it on yourself. So Lolo's like, okay, but what if I don't win? And Tom says, you'll still be safe against the person that I put up as the replacement. You don't have to worry about that. So he's saying, people would never expect us to have an agreement considering our history. And then Tom does his whole, in exchange for keeping you safe, don't put me up if you win HOH. And again, this just does not seem like a great deal to me. For like two different reasons. Number one, she's going up on the block, so wouldn't the fair thing be like, even if she is a pawn, to use Tom as a pawn? Like, why would she keep him off the block? And then number two, why would she even trust that she's just a pawn? Right? Okay, so anyway, Lolo says, Tom, you really hurt me during your first HOH. She was so committed to the 4/5, and then he broke the team alliance, and she's saying, you can make amends here and bring the team back together. And if you make amends, you will be in the final 4. No! Okay, so then Lolo's going through her other points. She's like, Kandi and Dina have no blood on their hands. You're not going to beat them in the end, which is not necessarily true. And Tom is like, well, I'm not even thinking about, you know, getting votes in the end at this point. I'm just trying to have fun, you know, be cool with everybody. And then she's also saying Kandi and Dina can't win competitions to keep you safe. You know, you want to work with us because we've won in the past and we're going to keep winning. So Tom is like, yeah, but wouldn't I want people around that I can beat? So he's pretty much just negating all of her points. He has it in his head what he wants to do, but he's trying to, like, hear everybody out. So Lolo's like, well, I'm kind of unsure about this plan, but I'm going to try to trust you. Okay. All right, so then Tom did also chat with Dina and Kandi separately. They're kind of similar chats. But Dina and Kandi both want Natalie out this week, not Ricky. So Kandi actually made a great argument. She was like, you should really be putting up the two that you want out the most, which would be Natalie and Ricky. Because there are 3 people in this group right now. If you put up Lolo and Ricky, Natalie could win the veto and save Ricky, and then we're stuck voting out the person that you wanted out the least out of that trio. So you can avoid that by putting out the people that you want the most. So even if Lolo were to win the veto and save one of them, somebody that Tom actually wants out would still be leaving. So she makes a really good point there, and it seems like that may have finally gotten through to Tom. So now he's had all these conversations with like Natalie and Lolo telling them what's up, and now he might be changing that plan. Ugh. But it is what it is. So nominations should be happening later today. I don't know if it's going to be Lolo and Ricky or if it's going to be Natalie and Ricky. I don't think it's going to be Lolo and Natalie, which I think would also probably be a smart move. But then again, you run into potentially Ricky winning the veto and saving Natalie. So maybe it really is best to put up Natalie and Ricky, right? So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Check back later for the nominations. I'll post them in the info. And that's it. So until tomorrow, much love.